Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello and a very good morning to each and every one of you who's tuned into Pakistan TV and are watching world this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, with this hope and prayer that everybody out there who are actually tuning into Pakistan TV, or whether you are not, we hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your day with us. I happen to be Shahzad Khan. With me, I'm really lucky that I've been joined by Madam Eesha Hadi, or may I say Eesha Rehan. Hello Eesha, assalamu alaikum, good morning. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam, Shahzad. I feel absolutely brilliant, absolutely great. However, you know, me and Shahzad were just discussing how it has become exceptionally hard to get out of bed in the morning since winters have arrived upon us. I think we need to hear tips from you guys. What helps you get out of bed? Is it coffee? Is it the anticipation of going to work? Or is it just being positive?
But what is it for you, Eesha?
I think for me, it is my fluffy little night suit. Make sure to get yourself a fluffy, well-comforted night suit because it is going to keep you warm throughout the night and it's going to help you get out of bed in the morning when it's cold and chilly around you.
And you actually feel really warm. You're like, hey, you know what? I really need to get out of this place. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, this really sounds like a very amazing plan, but for me, it has not been working as of now. Earlier, I was waking up at 7 a.m. in the morning. Now, you know, I'm waking an hour later. You know, I don't know, you know, so I've been struggling. So my alarm goes off and I'm like, hey, you know what? Okay, I can get 10 minutes more, 15 minutes more. And with these newer beddings and quilts, I don't know, it just makes you feel so...
It's hard to get out, right? Because they're weighing on you. They don't want you to leave the bed, right? So don't give in to temptation. Make sure to have a heavy breakfast and make sure to be on time.
Exactly. And just to kind of get our day started and on the track as well, imagine that just yesterday my father actually sent me an Instagram reel where there was this, you know, actor, and he was saying that, you know, if you would want to be successful in life, please make sure that you're not worried about, oh, you know, that you're hungry, or that you're not worried about, oh, I need to sleep. Please make sure that every single day when you get that opportunity, you seize it, you know, you stay focused and you stay grounded, and that's exactly how, inshallah, you will become successful and all your goals will be fulfilled. And please make sure that you keep on asking from Allah Almighty for all of those blessings. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, there are a couple of stories that I'll be building up on, because there's a story that I built up on just yesterday as well. So I'm going to continue with that highlight, where certainly, you know, where we spoke about in the longest ever shutdown of the government shutdown in America. Now, ladies and gentlemen, looks like as if it's going to solve a lot of problems for people back in the United States of America. And it's because of the fact that the US Senate on Sunday moved forward on a measure aimed at reopening the federal government and ending a now 40-day shutdown that has sidelined federal workers, delayed food aid, and snarled air travel. In a procedural vote, senators advanced a House-passed bill that will be amended to fund the government until January 30th and include a package of 3 full-year appropriations bills. Very quickly, because this is what makes sense, if the Senate eventually passes the amended measure, it still must be approved by the House of Representatives and sent to President Donald Trump for his signature, a process that could still take several days.
Definitely, it is very concerning, and we hope that this issue is eradicated and the flights are resumed, because a lot of turmoil is happening because of this. But speaking about turmoil, it is actually Pakistan who is the country of peace and prosperity and now diversity and inclusivity. Pakistan is celebrating the 556th birth anniversary of Baba Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the founder of Sikhism, with great enthusiasm and peace. From Kartarpur to Hassan Abdal, Pakistan has opened its doors and its hearts to thousands of Sikh pilgrims from around the world, including over 2,100 from India. The spirit of celebrations has truly been beautiful. Pilgrims have been chanting Pakistan Zindabad, performing rituals and expressing gratitude from the warmth and hospitality they have received here. And it's not just a religious gathering, it is a powerful reminder that Pakistan is a beacon of peace and hope.
Exactly, ladies and gentlemen, the land of pure and the land of peace. That's exactly what Pakistan is, but not just that. On the other side, ladies and gentlemen, obviously Eesha is going to take the lead as well. You know, everybody or the world leaders are actually gathering for the COP30. Where, Eesha, why don't you take the lead?
All right, Shahzad, it is very concerning how climate change is rising. The world is gathered once again, this time in Brazil's Amazon city of Belém for COP30, a global effort to address what is being called the defining crisis of our time. 2024 was not just another warm year, it was one of the hottest years ever recorded, with global temperatures averaging from 1.6 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial levels. Scientists warn that humanity has crossed the symbolic red line with 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold. The UN Secretary General called it a climate breakdown, urging the world to act now or never. From wildfires in Los Angeles to heat waves across South Asia, and especially the devastating floods that Pakistan has seen, signs are undeniable. Climate change is distant. It's not a distant threat, it is a reality. And Punjab Chief Minister Mariam Nawaz Sharif is representing Pakistan at COP30. We hope that all the world leaders can come together and come to a conclusive decision to eradicate this.
It didn't really sound like a highlight, by the way. It sounded like a complete story. But since you mentioned that the Chief Minister, most respected and honorable, Madam Mariam Nawaz, is representing Pakistan. Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, happens to be one of those countries which are at the front line of the most affected by climate change. Very quickly, certainly I will be roping in cricket as well because, ladies and gentlemen, Sri Lanka is visiting Pakistan and people of Rawalpindi and Islamabad are in for a treat as the first ODI is set to take place in between Pakistan and Sri Lanka. The record says that Pakistan has been really dominant, but we will be speaking about it since the squads for the Sri Lanka and the Tri-Nation Series is set to be in between Pakistan, Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe. The T20 International Series will be taking place. The squads have been announced. There's only one change. Fakhar Zaman comes in the T20 International squad. We'll speak about it, but right after a short break. Meanwhile, make sure if you're having breakfast, continue to do so. Or if you were waiting for us to go for a break so that you can go, run, grab your cup of coffee, make sure that you do that well in time. We will be right back. Good morning. We are World This Morning. Yep. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm not sure whether your kitchen's far away or not, but we hope so that that people were able to get their cups of coffee. My producer does not really want me to indulge in these conversations today. We're short on time. So very quickly, let's build up on the first highlight that we shared, that the U.S. Senate advances bill to end federal shutdown. Ladies and gentlemen, to speak about it, we're very lucky that we've been joined by Mr. Anwar Iqbal, happens to be a senior journalist joining us all the way from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much, Mr. Anwar, and I'm going to dive very quickly into this conversation, where it has been the longest ever government shutdown, for people to kind of witness. And in addition to this, we do know for a fact how the civil federal employees of U.S. Senate on Sunday to move forward a measure. And for the civil and federal employees, it was really difficult because 750,000 people were laid off and looked like as if, they might not even get jobs back again as well. And now coming back to the point where till 30th January, they'll still be in the office. What is the sentiment of the American people of this bill which have been passed by the Senate?
Well, people of America were concerned, obviously. Thank you very much for inviting me. Yeah, they were concerned. Obviously, this is the longest in U.S. history, like 42, 43 days. And it will still take 2 or 3 days before it ends formally and the money starts arriving. But more than that, it has highlighted two things. Number one, how strong the Trump administration is. Obviously, they have been working behind the scenes on this, and they ultimately succeeded in winning over 8 Democratic senators. Without that, this would not have been possible. And the other thing that it highlighted, which is actually more important than other factors, is the fact that there is a sharp division within the Democratic Party between the centrists and the left-leaning Democrats. I mean, the left-leaning Democrats were encouraged by Zoran Mamdani's victory in New York and then by other victories in Virginia and other states, because the lieutenant governor who was elected here in Virginia, she also leans left. She is not as far left as Zoran Mamdani, but she also leans left. So they have been really revitalized after these victories, and they
All right, you've highlighted that very accurately. And just to highlight, it has been 40 days since the U.S. government has been shut down. If the Senate eventually passes the amended measure, it is still going to take a lot of time to be approved by the House of Representatives and then sent to President Donald Trump, which we believe is going to be a very cumbersome and lengthy process. What do you have to say about this?
a day or two. I mean, because the House, the Republicans have a clear majority in the House, so that should not be a problem. And President Trump will not take much time in signing it. It will be done very quickly. It is now just a procedural matter. I mean, the message has been sent, and those who were expecting to be paid now know that they will be paid as soon as possible. So that is practically that thing is over now. I mean, this is a victory for President Trump, and that is how he will portray it, and he will use it to further divide the Democratic Party between the left and the centrist, which is already there, and this division will further sharpen. So that is what where the focus is now going to be.
Exactly. And sir, in addition to this, obviously, I think we need to, or how we need to look at it is now imagine that, that the federal agencies won't be able to, downsize. And that's exactly the kind of mission that President Donald Trump has been on for the right sizing of the, institutions out there in the United States of America and for the government to be as smaller as they can be and the private sector to do what they want to do. It is certainly a win for the workers' unions and their allies. How do you, or what would you want to comment on that, where people now will be getting back to their work, they will be getting paid, a win for the unions, but on the other hand, it looks like as if it's going to halt President Trump's vision to downsize or right size in the right manner.
That is a positive development. I mean, the way President Trump has been sacking people and has been downsizing federal agencies and departments has stunned Washington. I mean, if you drive by the State Department, right facing the department's headquarters is the U.S. Institute of Peace, and that remains logged now. I mean, it has been emptied. People have been sacked, and probably it is now just controlled by the police. Then there are other departments, other like other NGOs and places like that who used to get funds from the federal government, like the Woodrow Wilson Center and National Endowment for Democracy and all. You see, those are all. Most of them have been shut down, and those who are functioning are functioning on shoestring budgets. So that has been a cause of concern. But President Trump is determined to continue with what he calls his reforms. He believes that the government should have. I mean, this is an old Republican uh,
Narrative?
not narrative. I mean, sort of a principle that the government should be as small as possible, and that the government has no business telling other countries or telling other people how to run their life, how to bring democracy or not to bring democracy in their countries, or similar things. I mean, he believes that all these things should be done by the private sector, and the government should have a very small
Actually
footprint.
focused on their core values, yeah.
Exactly. And sir, in addition to this, do you want to mention the senators who played a vital role in this deal, like Gian and Maggie, both from New Hampshire?
Yeah, there are eight senators,
All right.
and all of them are centrists. Some of them, not all, but some of them. There are one or two who actually supported the democratic move when they tried to force the federal government to continue providing insurance to those who cannot afford it, which is known here as the Obamacare. So they want the current administration to continue the so-called Obamacare. So when it is started, some of them, at least two or three, are from the lobby that want. They still actually, most of them still want the Obamacare to continue. But then there are some among them who were against this move right from the very beginning, and they thought by shutting down the government, they are putting thousands of people at risk. They will go hungry. They might lose their jobs. And knowing the Trump administration, they argued that once they're sacked, the Trump administration will never re-employ them. So we should not really play with the fate of these people. They also argued that this shutdown has further empowered the president, has taken away powers from the agencies, and given those powers directly to the president. So we are further strengthening the Trump administration, which we should not. So there were all sorts of reasons for them, but we can safely say that most of these people were not happy with the shutdown from the beginning.
All right.
All right, and during this shutdown, we witnessed how Republican Party members stood tall with their government, stood strong with their government during this government shutdown. What was the sentiment among Americans? Was there more political divide amongst the civilians as well?
Well, I mean, people who see Americans every time this shutdown happens, it has happened so many times. I mean,
Yep.
I've seen 4 or 5 such shutdowns in my stay in Washington. Every time it happens, people don't like it. I mean, it it shows the weakness of the American democracy that they have given Congress the power to actually do such things with that, because Congress has total control over funding. It is the Congress that funds the government, and is the fund that the Congress provides that runs the government, and that is how it has been designed. I mean, the president is elected for 4 years, and unlike the British parliamentary system, he cannot be sacked, cannot be unseated. Even the majority of the House and the Senate turns against him, which they often do, but he remains the president. And
Yes.
he's the one who takes all the major decisions. But at the same time, Congress has been given the power to provide funds for whatever the president does. And whenever Congress feels threatened, it uses its power to force the president to do whatever they want them to do. And also, the Senate has the power to approve senior presidential appointments, and they use it very vigorously, and more than actually quite often they block the appointment made by the president, and force the president to withdraw his appointment. So this games goes on, but on shutdowns, American people feel very bitter. They don't like it at all. They think that it makes America look bad abroad, and they actually would like both sides to find a way out that actually does not take the situation to a stage where there has to be a shutdown. They want both parties
Exactly.
to resolve this peacefully, but I do not see that happening anytime soon. I mean, the system is built as such that this clash of interest between the two parts of the government will often force such shutdowns.
And Mr. Anwar, so one last question very quickly, and that is that what will be the plight of the civil federal employees post 30th January 2026?
It's not going that far. I mean, they will take those who have been stopped from going to work because of this. They will be back in their jobs very soon.
All right.
The problem is uh, for those who have been sacked by the Trump administration, and nobody knows what will happen. Some of them have been re-employed, others have found employment somewhere else. The private sector here is much bigger than the government sector, so they have found jobs with the private sector. But some of them are still unemployed, especially
All right.
those who studied things like international relations and political science and other social studies. I mean, there are not too many jobs in those sectors, and some of the people I knew who worked for, say, NGOs or government organizations that deal with democracy, that deal with social reform, that deal with providing health facilities, providing food to the poor, they are still unemployed.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Mr. Anwar Iqbal, for joining us all the way from Washington, D.C. And certainly it looks like as if that, how the President Donald Trump's administration is making sure that they take all the measures. First of all, where Americans feel relaxed and they go back to work as well, because the longest ever government shutdown, ladies and gentlemen, comes to a pause or a stale. But Alhamdulillah, I think for people, back in the United States of America, that they will be going back to their offices and will be getting paid in full, where Mr. Anwar Iqbal have actually mentioned or have spoken about, how, people with degrees from international relations and other several departments which are not going to function probably fully in the years to come for the United States of America, and private sector will take over. Those people will be offered job, and most of them have gotten jobs within the private sector. It looks like as if the President Donald Trump's plans is working as of now. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. We are Well This Morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. Certainly, as Eesha did mention about, this one in the highlights as well, where how Pakistan has always been hospitable, making sure that for our Sikh brothers and sisters who are going to visit for their pilgrimage over here on the occasion of the
500
birth anniversary celebration of Baba Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we will be speaking with Sardar Ramesh Singh, Arora, Minister for Minorities Affairs, Punjab President, PSGPC, Pakistan Singh, Gurdwara, Parbandhak Committee. Hello sir, Assalamu alaikum. Paji, ki haal hai? Sat Sri Akal.
जी थैंक यू वेरी मच सत श्री अकाल जी आई एम डूइंग वेरी वेल बहुत चंगा जी ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਣਾਓ ਠੀਕ ਹੋ
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Wonderful to have you on the show, sir. So, sir, very quickly, let's get started with, all the arrangements made for the Sikh Yatris over here for Baba Guru Nanak's birth anniversary, which took place over here in Pakistan with a lot of hospitality, a lot of people coming in from India, Sikh pilgrims, Sikh Yatris, brothers and sisters. Please take us through.
Yeah, thank you very much, brother. First of all, thank you very much, Pakistan Television, Pakistan TV, for taking me on live and sharing the stories of the pilgrims who visited Pakistan. They came across the world. They came from the United Kingdom, United States, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, Malaysia, Indonesia, and a group of around 2,000, around 1964 visitors came from India, and we gave visa to 2,400, out of which 1,964 up, and they entered to Pakistan on 4th of November, and we took them to Nankana Sahib, where they celebrated festivities, celebrated the birthday anniversary of Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the first Sikh Guru, and they stayed there for 3 days. On 6th, they went to Punjab. On the way, they also paid homage to Gurdwara Shabbir. After that, they came to Khatak, spent 2 days over there. And yesterday, they left for Lahore, and on the way, they also paid homage to Gurdwara Rodi Sahib. So they will be visiting 6 Gurdwaras while Indian devotees are staying in Pakistan. But despite of that, a majority of number from Singh, they also visited Nankana Sahib and other shrines, 6 shrines in Pakistan. So basically, when we talk about the religious tourism, the Sikh tourism, so we give more emphasis to the diaspora and the Indian devotees who want to come to Pakistan. Pakistan is a peaceful land where we celebrate our diversity and inclusivity, and we strongly believe on social cohesion and coexistence. And certainly that we share it with you. And you also have witnessed on the social media and on the print and electronic media, the majority of the Indian devotees, when they come to Pakistan and they were sharing their thoughts before entering to Pakistan, there was a negativity in their mind because the Indian media, particularly
That sounds absolutely fascinating, and we applaud you for all the efforts you put in to accommodate all these people coming in. And on these notes, let's talk about how the Kartarpur corridor has been called a corridor of peace. What message do you think Pakistan has sent to the world through these celebrations, and how does this reflect on Quaid-e-Azam's vision for a nation that accommodates a lot of unity and peace and prosperity?
Ma'am, see, day before yesterday, the head priest of Akal Takht Sahib, the Golden Temple, he left Pakistan. He went to India back because he was here on the visit to Pakistan. He also joined the Jatra on 4th of November, and he left back on 9th. So when he was going back, do you know what he said? That he said, I would pay my thanks to the government of Pakistan for opening the Kartarpur corridor, because this corridor is a peace corridor. We share our diversity, and where people come from India and they pay homage to Gurdwara, and every Sikh prayer 2 times in a day visits shrines in Pakistan. That is part of my religion, that whenever I pray, I will pray, oh God, give me an opportunity to go and see Gurdwaras in Pakistan, particularly in Nankana Sahib and Kartarpur Sahib. So he was mentioning that Kartarpur Sahib is a piece of land, and then he emphasized to the government of India that if the Kartarpur corridor is opened from Indian side, why you have closed the corridor from 7th of May? Now the relationships are normal, so he also emphasized that the Indian government should open the Kartarpur corridor because Indian devotees come to Pakistan and see the Kartarpur, and I strongly believe that is a gift from the state of Pakistan, from the government of Pakistan to the Sikh nation, and I strongly believe that is one of the major reasons during the recent conflict between India and Pakistan, the Sikh
Exactly.
nation was standing
Exactly,
with the
Paji,
Pakistan.
and exactly, Paji, and Paji. To be very honest, I think we would all want to kind of appreciate and applaud the efforts put in by Pakistani government, you, your entire team. But in addition to this, what is more fascinating alongside this is that it wasn't just their pilgrimage. What happened over here was that Pakistan Sikh Gurdwara Parbandhak Committee, which you certainly are leading, in collaboration with the Kartarpur Project Management Unit, hosted a live Kabaddi festival attended by you yourself and the Punjab Minister for Minorities Affairs as chief guest. Why don't you shed some light onto that live Kabaddi event which took place over here?
Yeah, so what we do normally when our brothers and sisters come from India, so we arrange some sort of festivity for them so that when they come to Pakistan, they also see our culture and our coexistence, how we celebrate our diversity and how do we promote our culture. So certainly when they saw that, witnessed that match, they were quite happy and very excited to see that. But let me tell you one more thing. Today evening, we are going to arrange a welcome dinner from the side of Chief Minister of Punjab and in Hazuribagh. All the Sikh Yatris coming from India, they will be coming. They are invited and they will be participating in the dinner. So that is something coming from the Chief Minister of Punjab because she has directed me, not only me, the entire government of Punjab, that we should give maximum arrangements to our devotees who are coming from India because they're coming here to celebrate their religious activities, festival. So today, again, we will be having a welcome dinner for our Indian Yatris from the Chief Minister of Punjab.
Exactly. Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Sardar, Ramesh Singh, Arora Sahab, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you. And certainly, it's the leadership within Punjab, which we do see, has been really vibrant. How we've been opening our doors, making sure that, our Sikh brothers and sisters, the Yatris who come here very peacefully, do their pilgrimage, do their religious obligations, fulfill that, then participate in Kabaddi and all of these events and kind of go back. And for all of these Sikh Yatris who've been in Pakistan, have been in conversation with them, and they absolutely love being in Pakistan, being hosted by Pakistanis, and certainly, they're just like our brothers and sisters, and it certainly resonates the same message by the founder of Pakistan, Qaeda Muhammad Ali Jinnah, where how we stand united, where you're free to go to your Gurdwaras, you're free to go to your mandirs, and you're free to go to your mosque. Ladies and gentlemen, and Pakistan stands tall with that message. With now, what the point is that we are going to transit from how we have been hosting people, but now a lot of global leaders are being hosted in Brazil. And why are they hosted? I think that's exactly something which will come after this transition. Shouldn't be saying it on air, but let's go. Let's transit from one place to another.
All right, thank you so much, Shahzad, for highlighting how the world leaders are gathered in Brazil, specifically in the city of Belém for COP30, which is the conference of parties. It is specifically the climate summit where global efforts are going to be addressing how climate change is not just a pressing issue in the distance. It is a issue that we are facing right now. It is a current fact. We are living in the moment of climate disaster, and to address these issues and to speak more about this topic, we actually have a very interesting guest. She happens to be the Minister of State for Climate Change, Dr. Shezra Mansab Ali Khan. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam, for your time. Wonderful to have you. And so I'm going to get started with how the United Nations has said that millions of refugees are trapped in a vicious cycle of conflict and climate extremes, urging the COP30 summit to provide financing for the most vulnerable. Unfortunately, for the previous COPs that we have been visiting, it's just that Pakistan has been unable to tap onto the climate financing. Do you think that, in days to come, where now the Honorable Chief Minister of Punjab, Mariam Nawaz Sahiba, is representing Pakistan in COP30, Pakistan will be able to tap onto the climate financing?
Well, 30 years into the COP process, there has been some progress, undeniably, but we still feel, and especially the global South countries, including Pakistan, are very vulnerable to climate change. And Pakistan especially emits less than 1% of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. But on the other hand, Pakistan is one of the most vulnerable countries. And in the World Climate Index of 2022, Pakistan was at the top of the list of the most impacted countries in the world. We've had the floods in 2022, in 2025. And apart from that, Pakistan is such a diverse country topographically that we have glaciers which are melting in the north, we have deserts, we have floods, riverine floods, we have cloudbursts. So we are experiencing the worst kind of impact of climate change. Having said that, of course, all other global south countries also are vulnerable, and the historical emitters, which are the global north countries, who have been using fossil fuels, who have been using, developing their industries since the Industrial Revolution, and are now developed nations and are historical emitters, need to understand their responsibility towards the global climate change. This is climate justice, and this is what all global South countries always raise their voice for. So, in this climate, COP30, it's called the sorry, it's called the COP of Truth, and the basic focus is going to be on implementation. So there have been a lot of promises, there have been a lot of figures quoted about this is the kind of the World Bank has quoted some figures, other organizations have quoted that this is the finance that is needed and required by the global South countries, but this is the COP of implementation. So we are going to try and raise our voice for climate adaptation. And we are going to, Pakistan's focus is going to be to say that adaptation should be a co equal pillar of the COP with mitigation, and that climate finance now needs to be seen on the ground, not only in figures quoted during the COPs.
Exactly. Thank you so much for mentioning that. And certainly, as Pakistanis, we would like to see that. But I will circle back to this as well. But since we have commenced our conversation on, tapping onto the climate fund as well, I would want to now ask about, the concentrated or the specific policy changes that we have made within Pakistan to make sure that as much as that we could control it, that we should control it, number one. And what is the response that we keep on getting from the, international or global leaders who certainly, all countries who have been contributing to climate change? So imagine that, that said that it shouldn't really go beyond 1.5 degrees Celsius just last year, but it did. So unfortunately, Pakistan being at the most vulnerable list, and the global audience not being able to understand whether how vulnerable Pakistan has become because of their industry or their emissions, what solutions are we left with, and what sort of policy changes are we working on?
Yes, just like you mentioned, 2024 was declared to be, I think, the second or the third warmest year. And 2025 is also set to be a warm year. We have unfortunately exceeded the 1.5 limit set by the Paris Agreement. But having said all of that, the way forward is, of course, for everybody and all countries to realize their responsibility, especially after the US having abdicated its role in the Paris Agreement and just decided not to be part of the Paris Agreement and being a denier. The point is that we cannot be deniers, but at the same time, we should not despair as well. So there has to be a way forward. Pakistan has already presented its nationally determined contributions. We were one of the first 50 countries to do so, and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif in the Climate Week in New York presented that. So that shows that Pakistan understands its responsibility. And we presented an NDC that was very ambitious. So we're showing that Pakistan is ready to play its role as a climate change player in the globe. But we have also got our National Adaptation Plan of 2023, in which we have written that the agriculture water nexus is one of the most important. Pakistan is an agricultural country. We are a water scarce country. So these are the things on which we need to focus. We need to focus on smart agriculture. We need to see how we can conserve and preserve our water. And ironically, the two lens with which with which we have to see how Pakistan is grappling with the problem of water. On the one hand, when we have floods and with the glacier melting and everything, with the rain bursts and cloud bursts, we have so much water that we have floods and it's difficult for us to control those. But on the other hand, we are getting to be very fast a water scarce country. So all these things need to be looked at and worked upon together. And this is the policy that we have now presented, that apart from mitigation, for which of course we are trying to do as much as we can, we need to work on adaptation.
Exactly, madam, and we have seen that too as well. And thank you so much for kind of mentioning that. But very quickly, and correct me if I am wrong, and I'll stand corrected as well. Imagine that I've been in conversation with people who've attended COP27, 28, and 29, where they've mentioned that for Pakistan, unfortunately, okay, at the policy front, we have been working. But for Pakistan to come up with such a comprehensive plan or a project with which they can help on to climate funding is something which is a challenge as of now. So do you think that the government is working in the right direction to come up with projects and plans with which we could actually kind of get that climate funding, or is it just still, the ignorance of all the global leaders who unfortunately have been the major contributors?
All right, I just want to mention that it's useless to deny that we have capacity issues, or that we have developmental issues, or that we have less technical knowledge. We do need knowledge transfer. We do need capacity building. But having said that, Pakistan does have projects. We have a very vibrant youth who is coming up with so many green projects. And, we have all these green entrepreneurs that the Ministry of Climate Change especially encouraging to come up with new projects. So it would be wrong to say that Pakistan does not have projects. Pakistan does. There is so much red tape involved in the global organizations, unfortunately, which is not only impacting Pakistan, but all the global South countries. So the red tape needs to be cut down. There needs to be more mechanisms which are easier, in the sense that countries get the finance that is being offered to them. And on the other hand, we are not asking for loans because we are already a loan-stressed country. We are asking for grants or other innovative ways and means of finance. For example, blended finance, or transition credits and things like that. More innovative ways of getting finance, because where we are showing our responsibility, the global North countries also need to show the responsibility and have mechanisms where it becomes easier for countries to get the finance that is promised to them.
True. Thank you so much for saying that as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Shezra Mansab Ali Khan, you Minister of State for Climate Change. Thank you so much for giving us your remarks and the what Pakistan is doing at the policy front. Not just that, I think I would want to kind of appreciate your comments over here, where you did say that we cannot deny that there might be capacity issues as well. And certainly, I think that for people who understand and are not in denial, the people who will make things work as well. So really proud of you. Thank you so much for your time. Wonderful to be in conversation with you. So, Eesha, is there anything that you would want to say kind of
No, all right.
here?
Let's transition on to our next segment, which is sports.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, so it's time now that we rope in cricket, and certainly speaking about cricket, what I'll do is that, we will be in conversation with Kashif. Shabbir happens to be one of our favorite analysts as well. So Kashif, can you hear me? Assalamu alaikum. All right, so I don't believe that Kashif is over here, but ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan will be playing 3 one-day internationals against Sri Lanka in Rawalpindi, Eesha. And we've just won a one-day international series against South Africa because they were visiting Pakistan. The T20 series Pakistan won, and the test matches were drawn 1-1. And now we're looking to take on to Sri Lanka, but that's exactly where it might become a little challenging for Pakistan, because it's not the spin to win way. So we will have to have a mix of spinners and pacers, to kind of make sure that we take on Sri Lanka. And speaking of Rawalpindi actually happens to be one of the high-scoring venues as well. We're very lucky that we've been joined by Kashif Shabbir. Hello Kashif, assalamu alaikum, good morning. How are you feeling today?
Walaikum assalam. Thank you very much. I'm fine.
Thank you so much, Kashif, for joining us. Wonderful to have you over here. So Kashif, first things first, Fakhar Zaman comes into the T20 international squads, even though that that's for the Tri-Nation Series. But why was he dropped and why was he brought in? And then why did Mike Hassan had to come on TV and say, oh, Fakhar wants to focus on one-day internationals, so we're going to give him time?
We don't have any answer to that. Remember, in the last discussion, we were discussing about Fakhar Zaman. And I told you that the only player which is required in the T20 is Fakhar Zaman. I think he's the best suited person for T20 cricket. And the management finally made the right decision by including Fakhar Zaman in T20. He is what is required to the team.
Exactly, and while we now speak of it, obviously there's been no change in the one-day international squad, and we've seen that how Pakistan emerged victorious, where we did lose a game, unfortunately, by 8 wickets from South Africa, but it was us experimenting with our pacers. But with Sri Lanka, we'll have to have a very different mindset because they are spin-heavy themselves. What sort of planning do you think needs to be undertaken in Rawalpindi, which happens to be one of the highest scoring venues in the world?
Firstly, I think consistency is very important for the Pakistani team. By keeping the same team, I think this was the right decision made by the management first. Secondly, Sri Lanka is going to be a different ball game because you cannot compare the team of South Africa with Sri Lanka because this kind of condition in Pakistan, I think it is well suited for Sri Lankans because they are well equipped in the spinning department as well as in the pace department. But they have got quality batters as well. Recently, we have seen them playing in New Zealand against the New Zealanders and the West Indies. So I think it is going to be a different team altogether. And it is going to be a very tough ask for Pakistan because Pakistan will have to come up with the best team. They will have to come up with the best strategy because rightly you said that Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium, the wicket is well suited for the batters. It is going to be a high-scoring game for both the teams. So it is going to be a very good encounter between Pakistan and Sri Lanka.
Exactly. Well, for sitting over here and kind of thinking about Pakistan and Sri Lanka coming together, it can be challenging for Pakistan too as well. But on head-to-head, Pakistan and Sri Lanka have faced each other in 157 ODIs to date, with Pakistan winning 93 and Sri Lanka winning 59, and one match ended in a tie. Do you think that that this record will actually kind of give us the momentum that we need to win against Sri Lanka? And why are we playing so many one-day internationals while we are set to prepare for T20 World Cup?
Well, I don't have any answer to that because the whole management has to think about it. That what is going to be the proportion of test matches, T20s, and the one-dayers? Because if there is a World Cup coming up, I think focus should be more towards that segment of the tournament. But unfortunately, it is a different ball together, different game altogether. And secondly, if you talk about statistics, I think the statistics, they do not portray the exact picture of Pakistan and Sri Lanka. Because remember, there were times when Sri Lankan were minnows and they were not well equipped. They were not a very good side. But now the Sri Lankans are a totally different team. So you have to take them very seriously. I think we should not focus more on the statistics. We should focus more on the current statistics, how the Sri Lankans are playing. As I said, that they are well equipped in all the 3 departments. So we have to take them very, very seriously, especially the spinning department. Hasaranga is a very important player for the Sri Lankans. They will be more depending on Hasaranga. Plus their openers, Mendes is very important, Nisanka is very important. So all these players are very important for the Sri Lankans. In Pakistan, they will definitely have a very good tournament, very good, bilateral
Inshallah.
series.
Inshallah. And thank you so much, Kashif, for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation with you. And people of Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a treat at 2:30 p.m. The game is going to start. It's going to be a day and night game. 50 overs game as well, certainly one-day internationals. We hope that may the best team win, right, Eesha?
Definitely. We hope and pray. Obviously, we're going to be on Pakistan's side, and with that, we're going to be wrapping up today. Please catch us live tomorrow at 10 a.m. We will be waiting for you with our cup of coffee, so make sure you're ready with yours. Goodbye.
We are well this morning. Bye. Yeah, that was a good job.